We do have some games today and tonight. Let's talk Dolphins-Packers. It's a little cold there in Lambeau, as you know. Can you, before we preview this game, tell us how you used to stay warm in Lambeau Field with a cardboard box?
This is for anybody. If you're going to a BC game and it's cold, remember this, right? And anytime you're outside, Foxborough supplies there. Insulation is your best friend.
All right.
You take a cardboard box, any box, order some on Amazon, hold on to it. And if you're going to the game, get to your seats, whether you're sitting or you're standing.
Okay.
You put the cardboard on the floor below your feet and your feet on the cardboard. You want something between you and the freezing cold concrete. Your boots can be great. Your socks can be fantastic and doubled up. Your feet are going to get cold. You want something dry, so you could bring a garbage bag. Even think about it like that. Keep the cardboard dry.
Just something, a layer.
You need insulation. That's the important part.
All right.
So in Green Bay, where it's going to be like probably 25 degrees real feel, snow flurries.
Yeah.
A lot of cardboard boxes in that stadium.
Wow. I've been to Madison, as you know. I've been to Camp Randall for a game.
What
Never
time
been
of year
to
was
Lambeau.
it? What month was it?
No, it was the opener. So it was like September, whatever.
Best time to be there.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
I mean, you had a hoodie and whatever, a beanie and stuff, but yeah.
Opener?
It's still Wisconsin, bro.
Yeah, but September, it's not bad. Then you hit like third week in September. You're like, where am I? Antarctica?
I wasn't there. That's where I was.
But I'll tell you, in Green Bay, you know what's good about Lambeau, which I've noticed, because I would always, when I covered the Packers, start of the second half, I would go down like for the first half of the third quarter and watch. Green Bay and Lambeau is such a cool field where it's like bleacher seating. Everyone's on top of each other. You find a spot, it's not that cold when you're in the stands because you're on top of each other in the body heat and the capacity. On the field, freezing. I would be doing post-game stand-up hits, and I would go to myself like, I need to finish up and nail one now, or else I can't speak because as I go, my mouth, like my motor function slowing down because everything's getting cold.
God.
Pam Oliver one time, people were like, is she drunk? It was the cold. Yeah. They're like, what's up with her? It's like, no.
Well,
it's Pam Oliver.
Poor Tua can't have a box on the field in the pocket to help him throw. He is awful in cold games.
0-7.
Now, listen, it's not like it's not snowing. It's not, we'll see what that wind chill is going to be tonight. It should be pretty crazy there in Green Bay, but I don't think I can bet against the Packers here. And I'm high on the Dolphins. Ever since Tua came back, I've been saying it. They're going to make the playoffs. They can lose this game, and I still believe that. Although in the AFC, you can't really be messing around, right? You can't be messing around. But as bad as I want to pick the Dolphins because I've been on them, I just can't do it. I think the Packers are a better team, A.
Yeah.
B, Matt LaFleur is on the same level as McDaniel, if not better.
He's been McDaniel.
If not better.
Yeah, he's better. He's better.
I like Jordan Love. I like Tua too, but, in terms of quarterbacks here, Jordan Love's bigger, stronger arm. I'm leaning Jordan Love. I like the run game.
Josh Jacobs has been fantastic.
Now, look, when you start talking wide receivers, forget about it. No one's beating the Dolphins, but at the same time, if we're talking cold weather here and Tua's not great in cold weather, does that negate a bit Jalen Waddle, a Tyreek Hill, and those Packers receivers? Does it elevate them because they're used to it? I think we'll get a tight game, George, but in the end, I'm going to go with the coach. I'm going to go with the home field advantage, and I'm going to go with history. Tua's terrible in the cold. I'm going to go 24-20. Best game of Thanksgiving because the rest of these games stink.
Yeah.
I'll go 24-20 Packers.
You told me Tua's 0-7 in games below 40 degrees.
Yep.
The Dolphins are 0 for their last 11 in games sub 40 degrees. Think about it like this. If you're the Dolphins, your goal should not be to win the Super Bowl. Your goal should be to win the AFC every year. Because if you don't win the AFC, eventually you're going to have to play in Kansas City, Buffalo, Baltimore,
you gotta be that one
Pittsburgh, Denver, Cincinnati. Yeah. If you can't play in the cold, you have to play at home.
Right.
All throughout. But to get away from that, the cold does have an impact on the game. Especially, look, it's a Miami team. It's beyond Tua. Tua's not good below the cold. Well, guess what? That whole offense isn't good below the cold. Now, Tyreek Hill had his experience when he was in KC. To me, it's more of, and I agree, the Dolphins have the two best receivers in this game, but the Packers have a deeper receiving room. It's Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Doubs. Now it's Tucker Kraft emerging. The run game of Josh Jacobs. And the weakness in this Dolphins defense, their secondary is good. Javon Holland and Jalen Ramsey. They're getting better on the pass rush. But the weakness is against the run.
Right.
And Josh Jacobs and the run game has been the bread and butter for Matt LaFleur. Jacobs is on pace for another 300 carry season. He's almost at 1,000 yards. He's getting most of his yards after contact too, so he's been great at breaking tackles. And as the Packers set it up is block guys, leave one. Josh Jacobs, can you make him miss? And he does. And then, yes, there's a ceiling of Jordan Love, who's been playing in the cold. He's reckless with the ball at times, but he's good. The difference for me, though, this Packers defense, second the NFL in takeaways, it gets cold. Mentally, you're not as sharp. You start pressing. Tua's going to make mistakes. The defense is going to steal a couple possessions away from Miami. I think Packers end up winning this one 31-13.
Oh,
it's
definitive.
I'm just getting Miami and Kansas City last year in the playoffs. Now that was like inhumane.
Yeah, that was like negative.
-20. Like no one should have been outside.
No, that was not safe.
What are you doing outside, Terry?
I actually think some people got hurt like bad, like frostbite style from that game.
That is dangerous. Like how are there needs to be a retractable roof over every stadium. But not to get to that. This Dolphins team in the cold, I hate it.
Yeah.
Packers are thriving. And it's a Lambeau Field home field, especially in a loud stadium like Lambeau.
Especially on a stage of Thanksgiving night, too.
Thanksgiving night.
That's some of that, too.
Prime time.
There's a lot of pressure on the Packers to perform well. That's why I'm going a closer game. I hear you with all that. I don't know, man. I don't see Green Bay blowing this team out like that. Like the score you gave is a blowout.
I just think the defense and the weather.
No, I get it. I just think Miami hears all of us saying you can't play in the cold. And they're just sick of that. And I think you will get a spirited Miami team again, fighting for their playoff lives too. I'm not going to go as far as to call this team soft or anything like that.
Yeah.
I think they're sick of hearing we can't play in the cold. They're trying to make the playoffs too, which is why I'm giving them benefit of the doubt that they will hang in this game. But it really actually comes back to the Packers just being a better team. And in the end, physicality, I think the Packers can be more physical. I think this Dolphins team is a finesse team. And I think that's what happens and why a lot of times, not saying the cold doesn't bother them, but I think when you go to these cold weather cities, Packers, name it. I mean, he just told you the whole damn AFC.
Yeah.
Baltimore, Cleveland, all these teams. Buffalo. I think when you get to December and January football, you got to be physical. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing that hurts more as two people who, at least on a smaller scale of like high school, but we played football.
Hey, man, European football league's big scale.
There's nothing worse than getting hit hard when the weather's cold.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing worse. So you have to have some physicality to that. And I just think the Packers being a better, more physical team, they're going to run it down their face. I like Josh Jacobs in this game big time. Big time. I will be betting him. There's a player prop, 71.5 rush yards for him at -113. What book? Well, maybe we shouldn't say because they ain't cutting a check. But Josh
you had a book
over.
For 73.5.
I did.
And I said, Trav, there's 71 out there.
But I ain't giving them no props without the money, baby. But Josh Jacobs over 71.5 rushing yards, I think is my play. I think he gets over 100 yards. By the way, real quick, sidebar. Are we seeing a renaissance in running backs here? Josh Jacobs, hearing you talk about the carries that he's got again this year.
He's on pace for 300.
Bro, he's a workhorse. Old school workhorse back. Derrick Henry. Your boy Saquon's going off. Go ahead.
Dare I say Tony Pollard with Tennessee?
Jesus.
He's been good. Give him respect.
I'm naming Hall of Famers here.
No, you're Josh Jacobs?
And now we're saying Saquon Barkley. I mean, now we're saying Tony Pollard.
He's done a good job in
Even
Tennessee.
last year, Christian McCaffrey, his season, I think we're seeing a renaissance.
But even look at the significance of running backs ever. Chuba Hubbard with the Panthers. They're not winning, but he's a motor to that offense. DeAndre Swift is significant with the Bears. James Conner. And Trey Benson, what they can do out there. 1,000%.
Yeah. All right.
There's some respect on Tony Pollard's name. I'm going Tucker Kraft. Over 3.5 receptions, plus 136. Look, he's hit under on this plenty, and it seems like his ceiling is 3 catches.
Yeah.
But I want to get away from Javon Holland. I want to get away from Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah.
And I'm going to go with a tight end that has clear-cut chemistry with Jordan Love.
He does.
And I just saw this Dolphins defense. Again, Patriots are down. They were chucking. They don't have a lot of good receivers. But 12 targets to the tight end position for 9 catches between Austin Hooper and Hunter Henry. Give me Tucker Kraft getting 4 catches. And just that's playing smart and attacking the weakness when you have to throw.
Yeah, and it's time of possession. That lends itself to that physical style.
You know what's even your
about.
point where you're back on Josh Jacobs. I like that number. I like him over on the rushing prop.
Yeah.
You run the ball, you eat up clock. Nothing worse in the cold than standing on the sideline just
Absolutely. Well,
You
that's
gotta
what we
move.
usually see with Tua.
You need
and
to move.
Yeah.
You need to be on the field.
That's right.
Because I think of the coldest games when I was playing football. Luckily, it was on defense and offense and kick and punt
Yeah,
return.
you were moving.
And that was the best. I remember when I first started playing football, it wasn't any good. I would freeze my ass off, hated the cold. And then I was like, why is it not as cold anymore? Just running around.
Because you're running.
Obviously, NFL, no one can do that, play both ways, unless you're Travis Hunter.